Hey kids! We just finished reading the amazing Jane Jacobs and her talk about sidewalks, and we are here in a sidewalk close to the corner of Ashland and Jackson in Chicago, and it looks a little bit like the neighborhood that she talks about in her book. Since we just read about children and streets, what better place to go than Sesame Street? This is a show that has been pretty much directly inspired by the ideas of Jane Jacobs about public space in the city. Since 1969, the show has been watched by kids, parents, grandparents of all races and all ethnicities all across the country. We've been talking about adults for a while now. Let's talk about kids. So there are three things that I would like you to think about as you watch the show and as you write the paper. The first thing that I'd like you to do is to think beyond the idea of live action scenes. Think about the animation, think about the creatures, think about the Muppets. So I want you to think of it globally. Second, I want you to think about private space versus public space. This is something that Jane Jacobs talks about in the essay quite a bit. So try to find ways in which what she talks about applies to the way that the characters navigate interiors and exteriors. And lastly, don't try to separate humans from non-humans. I want you to think about all the creatures as one community of people. Think of it as a whole world. So the creatures and the animals and the Muppets are maybe a different ethnicity in the world of Sesame Street. For this paper, I'd like you to use Jane Jacobs, of course, because she's very applicable. But at the same time, if there's something from another reading or another film that you find that is useful to talk about Sesame Street, by all means bring it in. We're almost done with the class, and I'd like you to use anything that you think that would work for writing about this show. Can't wait to read them.